Okay, hello and welcome to this episode of the 365 Fitness Podcast. I am with our resident strong woman, Ellen, to talk about all things strength training. So we thought that Elle might be, the best person for this job. So we will dive straight in with what is strength training.
So, strength training, can also be called resistance training. Some people might know it as that. So, strength training, form of exercise where you're working towards either improving strength, power, endurance, usually against some form of resistance, whether that be weighting, barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, so like free weights, or your own body weight, with the aim of improving your strength, essentially. There are so many benefits to strength training beyond what most people assume. I think a lot of people have the assumption that people do it with the intention of just getting stronger. And of course, that's one of, I guess, the positive side effects of it is you are going to get stronger, but alongside that, you can improve your bone density. You can improve your mood, therefore improving like your mental health. You can, reduce fat loss or like encourage fat loss, improve muscle strength, therefore muscle gain, boost your metabolism. Like there are so many benefits for it, aside from just getting bigger muscles. Yeah.
I think that's one of the things as well, I've spoken to, especially women,
Yeah.
are, you know, oh, I don't want to strength train because I'm going to get really bulky. And actually, I kind of say, if you want to get bulky, it takes a lot of work,
It takes years.
literally, and serious strength training rather
Yeah.
than, what you might do in a session here or
Mm.
something like that. But I think actually it is important to say it will change your body shape. And that's not that's not in a negative way. It can
Yeah.
completely change, can't it, the way that you look.
Oh, 100%. We usually find when you get into strength training, you'll have, depending on where you're starting from, but you'll have an increase in muscle mass, a decrease in your fat. And that's what we call, I guess, like body recomposition, where you then see those changes in your body shape. And over 90% of people are usually very happy with the outcome of that. And like you said, it's extremely hard to get quote unquote bulky, whatever that means, because I think it means different to every single person. In the sort of like initial stages of it, it's easier to put on muscle mass, but not to the extent of, you're going to go do your first bodybuilding show. It is actually quite hard to get to the point where you then start to look really muscular. For a lot of people, it's, they start to see that definition in areas that they haven't seen before or ever before.
Like you talked about that body composition,
Yeah.
that your muscle is actually going up and your body
Yeah.
kind of, if you see maybe the number on your bathroom scales going up as you are strength training, that doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're putting on weight. Actually, your body could be really changing and looking quite
Yeah.
different and much.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And who would you say that strength training is for?
Absolutely anybody and everybody. I think we often get confused that strength training is for, I don't know, like people in their 20s to 30s. And if you're 50 plus, it's too late to start. And actually 50 is a great age. Any age really is great to get started. I think it can seem very intimidating, like the idea of strength training and lifting weights, especially if you are, over the age of 50 and you've never done it before and you've maybe seen what a commercial gym looks like and you go, that is not for me. But strength training looks different for everybody. And it's not always like one size fits all in the journey that you do when you come into the gym. So with that in mind, yeah, it's for absolutely anybody, regardless of what your goals are. If you just want to improve your confidence a little bit, or, you do actually want to get stronger, or it's been advised by somebody else that you need to get stronger for your own health and well-being, that's going to look different for everybody, but therefore it is for everybody.
Yeah, and I think especially as people start to get up, that your muscle mass declines
Hmm.
quite rapidly. I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly what the numbers are, but you lose like a certain percentage of muscle each year over the age of
The older you get. Yeah.
65 or whatever it is. And actually, sometimes for those types of people, it's even more important.
Hmm.
And kind of women, especially with kind of risk of osteoporosis, like you
Yeah.
talked about earlier about bone density.
Hmm.
So yeah, and I think people are coming around to the idea a little bit more. Strength training, there's more people talking about it.
Yeah.
Still not necessarily enough, in my opinion.
Mm.
But I think, yeah, just getting the message out there that anyone can try it and it can always be adapted to the individual.
Yeah, whatever your needs are. I think, as you said, so important as you get older. I think exercise and fitness in general is becoming a lot more popular, and that does look different on everybody. But in order to improve, just your quality of life, being able to still move when you are 65 plus, 70 plus, it doesn't just mean that you can suddenly lift more weights in the gym. It means that like getting up and down the stairs is going to be a hell of a lot easier. It's not then a task that you dread when you wake up, or like you need to go up to bed at night. You don't then dread walking up your flight of stairs or 2 flights of stairs. If that's the case, you end up being like, oh, this isn't challenge for me as much anymore. And I think that's a big thing that we have here is people who are 60 plus, once they start training, actually the byproduct of that is that they start saying everything feels so much easier in my daily life, like doing XYZ, it doesn't feel like I'm losing my breath as easy, or I don't tire as quick. Yeah. Getting on and off the toilet.
Just generally, I think you age better. You can tell those people that have always been physically active, you can see, and I guess if you're stronger, you're less likely to get those kind of fractures,
Yeah.
and all of those other kind of complications that can come as you get older. I think that's something that I notice, especially having kind of an older group of people that I take sometimes, and my previous kind of work in physio, that you 100% can tell those people kept themselves fit, and just, yeah, it's never too late to
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think as well, going on to sort of like reducing fractures, like you said, some people make the assumption that actually getting into strength training, you might then be more prone to hurt yourself, when actually exercise and strength training specifically can actually prevent injury, and including fractures and things like that. So actually any sort of worry that you did have towards that's why I guess getting a coach and coming to a gym like us is then going to be the best route for it, because you've then got somebody who's saying, no, this will be your best course of action, instead of you going into a gym and trying to do it on your own when maybe you don't know what you're doing to begin with.
You need that guidance. People actually who have said to me that, they might have started their fitness journey back pain, but actually once they've got a bit of strength training,
Yeah.
and I'm in the same position. I used to get a lot of back pain since I kind of took strength training a little bit, more. I've always exercised, but a bit more seriously. My back pain generally is so much better managed. It is about injury prevention,
Yeah.
as well. Cool. So imagine, someone's coming to you and says, got absolutely no idea to where I even start. Like, how do you get into strength training if you've never done it before? And you're thinking, oh my God, what do I do? What would be your kind of key points, do you think, for people in position?
Well, I guess obviously 365 is going to be is going to be your best route. Sort of joining a gym or a community where it is coach led, as opposed to commercial gyms are great, but there isn't sort of that guidance or accountability from somebody else, or I guess that community who kind of keep you going with it as well, where you can form sort of like the friendship side of it also, because that's such a key part to it. So I guess sort of first step is finding a gym or PT studio local to you, us being in Bishop's Waltham, 365 being sort of like your first place where you would go. The structure that we have here being small group, sometimes doing it on your own can feel a little bit daunting or intimidating. So if you were to join somewhere which maybe accommodated towards doing like a small group structure, you're then in maybe up to 6 people. You've got the coach at the front of the group who's going to personalize the session towards everybody. So it then kind of makes the whole process of actually stepping into a gym a hell of a lot easier, because you don't have to think for yourself with what you're even doing. You've got somebody telling you what you're doing, how to do it properly, and safely. And you then get to do it with people who you slowly begin to form friendships with. I guess all of those together make the process a hell of a lot easier and more enjoyable, because you then start to feel like you have accountability with yourself, from your coach, and from others around you. So yeah, join in a gym, get in a coach or group of coaches who are going to keep you accountable to the process. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely coaching
Hmm.
to improve your strength. You have to have that like progressive overload. So your
Yeah.
coach is going to be someone there that kind of encourages you and pushes you
Hmm.
to, increase the weights, maybe change the way that you're doing something slightly. Because otherwise, I think you do get sometimes to that point where people just get a bit stagnant
Yeah.
and actually they kind of reach a bit of a plateau. So I think it's important for anybody, whatever level, to have
Mm.
that kind of someone check-in saying,
Yeah.
should you be lifting a bit heavier?
Yeah.
I think you can probably, and giving you that encouragement that actually you can do it.
Yeah.
I think people shy away sometimes when they see the weights getting bigger. They're
No,
like,
I
"Mm,
can't do that. But I think also as well, what we've had a lot of recently is people going, when I first joined, I never thought I was going to be able to lift this amount of weight. But I guess then our responsibility as their coaches is saying, you're lifting great and you're safe when you're doing it. Now is going to be, as you said, the time to build in that progressive overload, so you then can start to see even more benefits from doing the strength training. And yeah, I guess our role as coaches is making sure that we do stay on top of adding in that element of challenge, especially for the people who have reached a point of maybe becoming a little bit stagnant, because there's always room for you to grow and progress. It's just our job as your coaches to find out how we're going to get to that point, and what it looks like.
cool. Anything else that you feel is important to say about strength training?
It's really cool. I think just we've pretty much covered all bases, but don't be afraid to take the initial step into it, because genuinely once you get started, like the benefits, like just flood you. Like it floods you, and it's so good. Not only for like the physical aspect, but I think especially for like the mental aspect. Being in the winter period now, you don't realize how much you get out of just coming to the gym for an hour.
Very much. Hope you enjoyed that, everybody. And we will see you next week.